Rock-a-Doodle. This is the next installment in my Don Bluth series of reviews. Yikes. This is, I talked about All Dogs Go to Heaven as the beginning of the end for Don Bluth, where I think that if you just take Secret and M, Land Before Time, American Tail, and then All Dogs Go to Heaven, that's a pretty good four-movie bunch of all pretty decent movies. The first three being great, All Dogs Go to Heaven just being okay. Kind of a mess, but okay. It's an enjoyable movie. I get why, even though that movie flopped, it did really well on home video. You can kind of see why, because it is a harder sell to audience members, but it also is fun enough that I imagine that kids would enjoy that movie. And it's a good movie in some areas. So, but that movie really was the beginning of the end, where after that movie was his most problematic movie at the time, and then after that, we just got nothing but shit for a while. And not all of it being his fault, including with this movie. This movie is really bad, but a lot of it isn't Don Bluth's fault. Basically, what had happened here is Don Bluth wanted to take an old Disney idea at the time that Disney passed on, the adapting the story of Chanticleer. And he took that idea and was like, I'm going to do it. But he also wanted, when Roger Rabbit had come out just at the time, he wanted to do a live action animation hybrid. But he wasn't going to direct the animation parts. He had someone else involved with that. That person ended up dropping out of the production, so he had to do all that. And Goldcrest, after seeing how All Dogs Go to Heaven bombed, they were going to fund this movie, but they weren't going to fund it as much, and they were going to have a lot more say. Because at the time, when you go from working with Spielberg, Land Before Time, American Tail, those were all partially collaborations with Spielberg. That's a great name for you to say, hey, I work with this guy, he really likes me, and then you go over to this other company, and they go, okay, we'll give you more creative vision. But then once your film bombs, and they're funding another project, they're like, we don't want that again. So you get why they have hesitancy here. But the movie just, but a lot of their moments of control did hurt the movie overall. And this movie was rushed and had missed deadlines. And it was a whole mess of a production. And you feel that during the movie because there are moments that work here. As usual, Don Bluth's animation is great. There's some musical sequences that are pretty alright, but most of this movie is really hard to follow and very confusing. This feels like Don Bluth's version of Cool World, and not like in the ways you're thinking. Like, get your mind out of the gutter. If you've ever seen Cool World, you'll understand what I meant by that. But what I mean here is, like, a lot of the stuff he does in this movie is the same thing. It's like live action hybrid. It's hard to follow. You don't really know what they're going for, kind of thing. And that's really how I feel watching this movie at certain points. Also, this kid, terrible child actor. His delivery was terrible. He's like, he has a lisp to everything he says, and it just hurts every scene. He just sounds irritating. And really, in the final cut of this movie, you're not really even sure why it's a live action animation hybrid. Like, it doesn't really do anything to the movie, and it's very bizarre. The whole movie's just a mess. There's plot holes with this movie. The most famous one people point out is like, why is the sun not rise when Chanticleer's there? And of course, Don Bluth has gone on to explain that in interviews and stuff. Like, hey, this is why that is. But it's not explained in the movie, so that's the problem. And so this whole Rock-a-Doodle movie is just a whole mess of just really ambitious ideas, and I respect Don Bluth and his team, but it just comes out like this crazy mess of a movie that I really hated watching it. I watched this a week ago, and I just did not want to record the video because I was just like, oh, it's not really a fun movie to talk about. It's I guess it's interesting to talk about, but it's not fun to talk about because it's not good, and I really just hated the experience. And that's kind of this movie. So let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.